the discussion of the past paper question from March 2021 Advanced Business Reporting paper. So the question is relating to lessors accounting in relation to the operating leases in line with SLFRS 16. Question suggests the company has entered into a 5-year lease agreement to obtain a property for its showroom in Malabay at an annual rental of 500,000 rupees payable at the beginning of the year. Accordingly, the first rental was paid at the beginning of the first year. So it means the lease rentals are paid in advance. The lease agreement provides an option for the lessee to extend the lease for a further 5-year period at an annual rental of 550,000, which should be payable at the beginning of each year. So what happens is, the question is clear. The initial lease term is for 5 years, plus agreement contains a clause where there is option to the lessee to extend it for a further 5-year term at a rental of 550,000, which is also paid in advance. At the commencement of the lease, Green PLC decided that the location of this property was very important for its operations, and there are no similar alternative properties in this area. So when you read this sentence, it depicts that there is a chance that the lessee is certain to continue this particular lease for a further term, because they suggest that in surrounding locations, the property is situated at a very important locality where there are no alternative places. So it means there's a greater chance, and lessee is virtually certain that lessee will exercise such extension options. The company uses the cost model to measure the right of use asset. The remaining useful life of the property is 20 years. So basically the right of use asset is measured using the cost model, and your useful life of the property will have a 20-year period. At the beginning of the lease, Green PLC paid 50,000 as a commission to the agent who arranged the lease. Green PLC's incremental borrowing rate per annum is 13%. So this particular 50,000 commission will form a part of the direct cost, because for you to arrange the lease, this commission or the agent would have been instrumental. So therefore, we consider this to be a part of the initial direct cost of the lease. So requirement 1, advise Green PLC on the initial and subsequent measurement of the above lease in the books of the company as per SLFRS 16 leases, together with the required calculation. So you are required to advise the company in relation to initial and subsequent measurement of the leases. So there are complexities. The complexities are basically there is an extension option. How do you factor that extension option, and how do you value the lease for initial measurement and subsequent measurement purposes? Then the part 2, advise Green PLC on the impact on its financial statements if at the end of the 3rd year, company decides to close down the showroom at the end of the 5th year, since it does not add significant value to the company as expected. Assume that Green PLC's incremental borrowing rate at the end of the 3rd year is 15% per annum. So now in part 2 of the question, there is a slightly different fact pattern which is present, which is in contrary to the fact pattern which was available at the question. Now, after 3 years down the line, company have determined the showroom is not adding the anticipated value. Therefore, you will have to discontinue this showroom at the end of the 5th year. So you take this decision on the 3rd year. So there's additional information which is available to you at the end of the 3rd year, where you will terminate this lease contract by the 5th year. So basically, so you need to factor that in and advise how your financials will be adjusted because you are now changing an estimate where initially you planned for a 10-year period, original term of 5 years with an option to renew for a further 5 years. But now within the first term, at the end of the third year, you realize that you will not exercise this option to extend, as a result of which what could be the adjustment to your financials in relation to your right of use asset and the right of use liability. Right. So the first question, it was very straightforward. Basically, you have to identify your initial and subsequent measurement in the books of the Green PLC in line with the SLFRS 16. So you can see this particular suggested answer where you have discounted your cash flows first 5 years at 500,000. But here you need to bear in mind, when you look at the cash flow pattern, you will only see cash flows for 9 years. The reason for that is the payments are in advance. So you can see that first year cash flow we have considered to happen in year 0. That is because since the payment is in advance, when you're conducting the discounted cash flow exercise, you always consider discounting factor is n-1 because the payments are in advance. If your payments are in arrears, you don't consider as n-1, you consider it as n. So when you work out the discounting factor, 1 divided by 1 plus r to the power n is your normal discounting factor equation. But in this context, since the payments are in advance, we consider that as n-1. So discounting factor equation for a payment in advance, 1 divided by 1 plus r to the power n-1. That's important. We need to keep that in mind. So that's why you see the year 1 cash flow is considered to be occurred in year 0. Similarly, year 2 cash flows will be assumed to be in year 1, and that's why the final cash flow is happening in the 9th year, not the 10th year, because the payments are done in advance. So we have worked out the discounting factor. You can see in this example for the period of 9 years, and we have calculated the present value. The total present value of future cash flows amounting to 3,173,687. So as per SLFRS 16, your right of use asset and right of use liabilities are recognized at present value of the minimum cash flows. But in this example, there are 2 additional factors that you need to keep in mind. Apart from the present value of the minimum cash flow lease payment, you have initial direct costs that are paid to the respective agents in order to secure this lease arrangement. So the 50,000 initial direct cost also forms a part of the right of use asset. So therefore you can see the total right of use asset to be 3,223,687. So that is inclusive of the present value of the cash flows and the initial direct cost of 50,000. Your initial right of use asset will be 3,223,687. Then relating to your right of use liability, you need to bear in mind the payments are happening or occurred in advance. So that's at the beginning of the period. So at the beginning of the period, that's at the beginning of the year. So your right of use liability technically will be 500,000 less than the 3,173,687. So 50,000 is not relevant because 50,000 is not a part of the right of use obligation, because that is directly paid to your respective agent against your cash. So there's no obligation to it in line with the lease liability. So when you recognize your lease obligation, since the payments are paid in advance, you net 500,000 from this because you assume that the payments to the lessor will take place at the beginning of the period. Therefore, 500,000 will be adjusted against the initially identified right of use asset value when you determine the lease obligation. Right, I believe the answer is clear to you in relation to the section 1 of the question. Right, let's take a look at the requirements of section 2. Advise Green PLC on the impact on its financial statement if at the end of the 3rd year, the company decides to close down the showroom at the end of the 5-year lease term. So you need to be mindful here when you recognize your right of use assets and right of use liabilities, and once you establish the lease term, you need to at each reporting date revisit any additional information available relating to your lease term. So don't get the impression that once you establish the lease term to be 10 years. Now in this example, section 1, when you worked out the right of use asset and the right of use liability, you consider a 10-year period. With payments in advance, you consider a period of 10 years. So now it doesn't mean for the entire remaining 10 years, you will consider this lease amortization table. You will account for your asset and the liabilities across 10 years. No, you need to revisit additional information at each reporting date, which is present to you as you move along. So in the section 2 of this question presents you such additional information which is available to you at the end of the 3rd year. Now at the end of the 3rd year, company decides the showroom will no longer exist after the 5th year. You're going to close down the showroom at the end of the 5th year because it is not adding the significant value to the company as expected. And Green PLC's incremental borrowing rate at the end of the 3rd year is assumed to be 15% per annum. Now you're required to advise relating to the adjustment. Now what is the adjustment that is likely to come in? The adjustment likely to come in is now your lease term will be shorter. Originally, the lease term was 10 years. Now you have already come to the end of the 3rd year. Ideally, there would have been 7 years more to go if as per our original estimate, right? 2 years more to come to the end of the 1st term, then another 5 years to come to the end of the extended 5-year period. So altogether, as per our original estimate, at the end of the 3rd year, we have had 7 years more to go. So when you say 7 years more to go, in our right of use asset also, we will have 7 years more worth of rights to be used. And in our right of use obligation also, we will have 7 years worth of rentals to be paid. Of course, keeping in mind the rentals are paid in advance, right? So now at the end of the 3rd year, you're trying to look at terminating the contract at the end of the 5th year. So now what will happen? Your rights will only remain for further 2 years, not 7 years. So now you need to bring this difference of additional rights that are already we have booked in at the inception, rights as well as obligation, you're required to quantify and reverse it at the end of the 3rd year, because you're now privy to additional information to say your lease will no longer continue after the 5th year period. So if you look at the answer, what will happen is already, this is the lease amortization table. So you can see the payments are, the first payment will happen in year 0, 500,000. So at the beginning of the period, the value of the lease obligation would be 2.63687. You add interest at 13%, and the closing balance at the end of the period would be 3,021,266. So likewise, the lease table have been worked out for a period of 10 years, right? So at the end of the 3rd year, meaning this is the value of the lease which is on the books, because 2,154,405 will be the value of the lease, because beginning of the period, the 500,000 cash will be settled. So this is the current value that you will have the lease in your books. So the question is, what should be the right value that you need to recognize? The right value that you need to recognize is only for a further 2 years, you need to recognize your rights. So further 2 years, meaning you have to rework the correct value of the right of use asset. So you can see the discounting which happens here is to calculate the accurate value of your rights and obligations for a 2-year period. So again, even though it's for a 2-year period, you will see 2 cash flows coming in, but due to the payments are in advance, always we consider N-1. So you present value that at the revised interest rate of the company at 15%, your 2-year remaining rights value will be 934,782.61. So currently you have 2,154,405, but the right value which should remain in your books will be 934,782.61. So you can see we calculate the difference of this, which should be adjusted against your right of use asset as well as right of use liability. So your revised carrying value will be adjusted by 1,219,621.99, right? So that's the adjustment factor which is required to adjust your rights for a remaining 2-year period, right? So with that, we come to the end of the discussion of SLFRS 16 session. I hope this session would have been instrumental for you to clarify certain doubts relating to SLFRS 16, and I wish you all the very best at your forthcoming exams. Wish you good luck and stay safe. Thank you.